Hear that sound? That's the future knocking on your door.
You do hear audio coming from him, though. Yeah. It's happened. It's finally happened. There is an audio error, and it's not on my end. Stop the press. Stop the fucking press. It's not me. It's not me this time. For once, for the first time ever, something is wrong. Horses are held. Presses are stopped. I didn't fuck. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm sitting here, headphones on, microphone, double microphone. It's not me this time. Thank God. Finally.
Is it still fucked?
At least once. Oh, there it is. There we go. Now I can hear you.
That makes no sense to me. It just required a restart. Okay, so that was awkward. Hello. How's it going, Johnny?
It's going very well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that was literally a Discord problem. It just required a restart. I should have hit restart the same time you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot to talk about this week, by the way. So,
yeah, there's a lot been going on.
How long before we have our Lord and Savior Grok?
As soon as I get access. As soon as I get access to Grok, it will become my Lord and Savior.
Okay, so to explain Grok, it's OpenAI, or not OpenAI, excuse me. It is XAI from Twitter. Their new release, they decided to call it Grok. I wanted to bring up I should have the Wikipedia. I'm going to blind myself here while reading it, but it's basically, the etymology is from stranger in a strange land. It's a Martian word, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything in particular within this book, but then it's referred to later in, of course, the favorite of Elon's, which is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. And it's basically these magical beings that can understand anything they look at effectively. They can sympathize with something, someone, anything. But yeah, so the one thing I'm most interested in is they also mentioned it as a more or less code assistant. I think it's specifically going to be like designed to really excel at coding. And part of like it says here in the Wikipedia that there's a programming subculture where Grok is used. There isn't any software, only different states of hardware. It's all hardware. It's a shame programs don't Grok better. So it's like this weird, like, term that's kind of brought up in programming that even I don't know about. I guess that makes me an amateur. But yeah, so Elon gets really nerdy with his naming schemes.
I think this goes to show that there really is a big Musk versus Zuckerberg clash going on.
Well, Zuckerberg and OpenAI
in the world of technology. Yeah, I mean, there's Zuckerberg and Elon as far as individuals. Well, I mean, you have corporations, but so the problem with companies is that oftentimes companies aren't really pushed by a single individual, right? Yeah. There's all these other factors. There's board of trustees, there's investors, they have all these different people that they have to answer to. But like Elon and Zuckerberg are so interesting because they really just, whatever it is that they want to push forward, they can push forward. And so I really see the metaverse and whatever Elon's doing is these sort of two titans technologically, really, really pushing the boundaries, which is why it sometimes really seems silly. Like when the metaverse came out, we talked about that. It seemed ridiculous. Why would I want to be in the metaverse? That sounds stupid. You're trying to sell me some sort of fake land. I don't want that. And I think the same reaction is going to happen to the Grok initially.
Like, why do you want to speak to a sarcastic chatbot?
Exactly. Yeah. Why would I do that? And then people are going to, and then they're going to like it, and then they're going to want to do it more, and they're going to say, "Hey, this is fun."
Well, this is especially going to work out of the gate. But real quick, it's not just Zuck and Elon. Like, you also have like basically Elon has like beef with Sam Altman over the whole, money that he gave, you name it, right? And it's supposed to be a nonprofit open source thing, and now it's not. So they he feels like they fucked him, in a lot of ways, and then obviously fuck the mission statement that he believed in. So more to say on that. It's kind of a trifecta of like different heads of AI, and then he also doesn't like the I forget the Google guy's name, but there's a famous quote where this guy called someone called Elon species-ish about like AI.
Yeah.
Basically, he's convinced that like if AI or if we had like AGI and it wanted to like kill us all, the guy would just be like, okay, we'll submit to the master AI, and we just peacefully sunset, I guess, through death and carnage. But anyways, what I wanted to say in general on that is this was a strategic release because OpenAI tomorrow is going to be doing their keynote of sorts. It'll be streamed live on OpenAI.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be streamed live on OpenAI and their YouTube channel. So their website and YouTube channel. And I did want to get into something here. They have basically a sort of pretty big leak list, right? From this guy named, I don't know who he's getting it from specifically. There's some other guy, but his name is, I'm going to butcher this dude's name, but Rowan Chung on Twitter. Anyways, he says, if the leaks are true, OpenAI Day could be the biggest AI event in 2023. The way we use ChatGPT is completely about to change. Here are all the unconfirmed leaks. And then basically you have things like leak number one is Gizmo V8. The new ChatGPT prototype, Gizmo V8, will have a brand new look and a ton of new features. Here's a complete list of features for Gizmo V8, leaked by Arrakis AI. Sandbox provides environment to import, test, and modify existing chatbots. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this as we go here. But there's obviously, I've talked to you a bit about Agent GPT in the past, and then there's a few others. But effectively, Agent GPT is a competitor's attempt to, what was it? Wow, I actually can't remember. The Auto GPT, right? So you could effectively design agents and they would do things, right? This is a research bot. Here's what it does. It compiles research, you name it, right? Effectively, they're setting up a sandbox. We talked last week about like regulatory capture and the Amazon method of just swallowing what someone else has already done whole. Agent GPT got $1 million in funding to start building out their project. And that's looking like $1 million down the drain if ChatGPT continues on this. So it's not just that XAI is doing big things. It's that they have to. It took them about 4 months in total to build XAI. but
Not very long.
mhm. So
Such a short time span.
well, it's really fast in comparison to what anyone else ever had to do because you know how it already is built. Also, I learned something.
The
If I could,
groundwork's there.
yeah, I've done a bit of research on this, so I'm going to be ranting a lot here, Johnny. You sit and listen, I guess. But
Okay, sure.
with the new model that has come out from OpenAI or XAI, excuse me, I'm going to have to try to get this straight, but they are starting off with an 8K context window. So that is, I don't know, roughly 7,000 something words, right? That it can understand within its context window. We've gone over this. As far as I have worked with, I think ChatGPT still remains a 4K context window. So you can get the API and do 8K for sure. And then you can do bigger models. There's 16K and 32K. So that's a lot of words that it can take into account and help you with things. And then obviously Claude's the best as of right now with 100K. But
Yep.
now that we're through the weeds on that, it's not multimodal at first. So it can't see and it can't hear. But they are looking to add that in later, which means they're probably training the models for that specifically. It would be really interesting because still in the game, Whisper is probably the best. Obviously, DeepGram is a better built on that for audio to text, but it would be really funny if Elon comes into the game and then makes a better text to speech and speech to text thing than most people because they want you to be able to talk to it. Just like the live chat that you can do with ChatGPT currently. So it's kind of going to be eventually a bit of a thing that's always around and you can talk to it and use it for stuff. It has live access to Twitter information. So it'll literally like be able to search through the feeds.
That'll be really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the big example that they had was it asked what the latest Elon Musk and Rogan podcast was. It knows the date that it happened and it knows what they're wearing and what the podcast was about. This is something that, with the exception of Bing browsing and a few other ones, probably wouldn't even be able to tell you maybe. But people had like comparisons. Without live retrieval, these things cannot tell you things that currently happened recently. So that was the 31st it was able to tell. And then,
yeah.
So going forward on that
data.
Yeah. Going forward on that, we don't know how it's going to perform yet. It's called Grog 1 because they had a Grog 0 model that they trained before, and it was trained on like really low parameters. So it was like a really efficient model. Be kind of cool if they open sourced it. It did really well compared to like a really famous ones, Llama 70 billion tokens. So that's trained on 70 billion tokens. This one's trained on 33 billion tokens, and it was performing really well, nearly the same. So that's basically getting more horsepower out of a smaller engine. The best way I would explain that.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I was just going to say better bot because better bot really feels nice on the lips.
Yeah. And
better bot.
Yeah. Better bot, basically. And then
Better
another
bot.
thing is, there's a lot of programmers that like a programming language that's up and coming. It's been around for a while, but it's live developed. It's super efficient and stuff like that. It's called Rust. And they built it on top of that as far as their whole like training method because they were able to set up a reliable thing. This is something John Carmack mentioned a while back where you could be training a model, and they also explained that it's like a train. So you start training your model for 2 months, right? Let's say you're a month into that model train. 3 of your GPUs, your H100s, these big, $100,000 GPUs, goes out or crashes. Guess what happens? You got to start the training over again.
No,
You just lost a
that's
month
terrible.
of time. So they effectively have to build software stacks that will go in and diagnose issues immediately and be able to like offload to different H100s that are sitting in idle, like waiting for shit, so that these things can continually go. And this model had to train 24/7, 24/7, right? Every single hour of the day, it had to be running at probably 80-90% for 2 months straight to train the model. That's how much like works in here. You've got like maybe $100 million worth of computers sitting there too. Some of them can go out, and
wonder how many GPUs went.
yeah, there's
How
probably a
many did they
graveyard.
blow out? How many 4090s died?
Well, it's not 4090s. It's for training they use like the
They use those different
H100s.
type of graphics card, don't they? Yeah.
It's like a big
There's
server, big server graphics card basically. So these things are specially made for AI.
the GPUs for like workstations can be really good for a workstation, but it's different than like a gaming graphics card.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily fully understand the differences, but I do understand there are differences.
Yeah, one's more expensive with like significantly more like horsepower and RAM and stuff like that. So that's the point of these ones that they build, because it used to be just stacking GPUs together. Now they build very powerful ones that are within their own like thing. It's actually kind of crazy. The ones we have now, you basically have to like put it in with a robot, because if you don't put it in precisely, you can fuck it up just right there. Like a human can't just slide it into a server casing. It has to be very carefully put in with this like special machine.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's way too much.
Yeah, we're dealing with like very like precise hardware here with training these things. But going forward to explain, we don't know how well this is going to perform, because it's going to have a couple of months of updates, just like ChatGPT had with the RLHF, which is human feedback loops, where it's like human like it do more like that, human not like it not do more like that. That's basically how ChatGPT trained post its original training. So basically the way to explain that is we are now just headed into the era where we have another competitor. So we don't know how good it's going to be. It's also supposed to be anti-woke in general.
I thought everyone signed that we're not going to make any more LLMs. We promise.
Yeah,
cross our fingers.
This is all horse shit, because they just had a summit. They just had a summit for AI safety, and they're releasing all this. So what the fuck ever, dude.
Cross our heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. I'm not going to make any more LLMs, I swear, guys. Seriously. By the way, check it out. Splonk LLM just released.
So the only promise is that they won't release open source LLM that's at the same power of GPT-4, which is whatever.
They should. They should.
Okay. Anyways, so I did want to go into what could be coming tomorrow because of these leaks. So going on forward with the Gizmo V8, effectively you'll be able to create agents within their build that they're making. So let me go through a little more of these. But yeah, so it's basically got the random features and stuff. What were you gonna say, Johnny?
I need a glass of water. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Well, you get that. Just need some water. I'm very thirsty.
Okay, so I'll continue a little bit while he goes and gets water. But basically, to explain, let me mute him until he gets back. I got echo. So basically, to explain our current situation. No, he's here. I'll wait for him. Okay. Hello?
Hi.
Okay. So to further explain like the possible leaks here, they will basically have a GPT builder within their site where you can quote unquote create new GPTs. So you'll basically be able to backend their thing with your own little prompt library or prompt settings where this thing is your lawyer bot or whatever, right? And there'll be like a marketplace for that where I guess you can use other people's stuff. Who really knows? We'll learn more about that tomorrow. But
Yeah,
that all depends if that comes out. But effectively what I'm saying is, among other things, like they're working on making ChatGPT in the background be able to use like tools, Google Drive, more information retrieval in general. So just making it more powerful.
Integration.
Yeah. So there's like integration with Microsoft 365, which people already would know from what Microsoft already has started trying to do, or I'm not sure exactly how much they've integrated now, but they are integrating. Basically, AI and everything is what's happening. That's more or less what they'll be announcing. But the thing I'm most interested in is there's workspace and team plans. So alongside these new features, the company is also announcing the enterprise subscription and the team plan. The team plan is $35 a month, unlimited fast GPT-4. So fast. So someone like me would use that a lot. 4 times longer context window. That's a blessing to me if that comes out, especially if it comes out tomorrow. Ooh, that would help me a bit with some of the stuff I'm working on.
How big a context window would that be?
Well, that depends whether or not they're claiming that their current is 8K. I think it might be 8K, but so if my testing is correct, it means that they have a lot of. What'd you say?
Should be 32, yeah?
Yes.
32K? Yeah. And when they say fast, what do they mean by fast? Like, what is that as an adjective? As a descriptor?
They're just giving you like priority access to servers, so your tokens per second is really fast. So your responses are as fast as possible that they can provide. That'll be what you get for a team plan. So it's $35 for a person.
You're not down on that list.
Yeah, basically it's just faster overall. Unlimited use of both GPT-4 and data analysis, which is their own like used to be called code interpreter. Now they're really selling the fact that it can work with data lakes and stuff like that because it's really good with Python. And that's how you work with stuff like that. A data lake is basically a giant plot of files and folders and data points that is like connected to a backend database that companies collect. And you take these data lakes and you examine them. And that's something that they're really trying to sell that ChatGPT can do. And of course, they say with your team plan, data is not used for training, which I don't believe, frankly. But who knows?
Do you think this is going to increase like usage for the average person, or do you think the people who have been using it will continue to be using it, sort of thing?
What this is more companies are going to be using it in general because the use cases just continue to build. That's basically what they're trying to do. It's
Because it did seem like it's moving more towards a professional setting with the Microsoft integration and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we will figure out tomorrow whether or not these are true, but I think that's where we might be headed. Where, in general, to summarize, you're getting a big, if you go into a team subscription, for example, you're getting bigger context windows, possibly just straight up 32K infinite context, which, by the way, means that they got a big ass shipment of fucking GPUs, like maybe 100 million worth, because that would be
a lot.
That's a lot of processing to be able to handle that for $35 a month. They're probably going to make it so you require like 5 for a team. So that subscription of $35 a month is only per person. So, you're out of the gate. Whatever the math checks out for that, I'm too stupid to fucking do that right now. But anyways, so a couple $100 a month, obviously. And you got yourself 32K GPT-4, unlimited and fast. Sounds like a good deal to me. Yeah,
and I think that is going to be more for the professional setting, because I think the average person, from what I gather, talking to people who are not really super interested, they're using it as like, oh, this is like a Google search, but there's a brain there. There's like a thinking man's Google search. I don't understand something, and Google's not helping ChatGPT. But the bigger context window doesn't really like mean anything to the average person, but to the person who's actually using it in a professional setting and actually, doing more important things with it, especially like coding, if you're, writing code and other things like that, and large amounts of information, and maybe especially like some of the long textbooks that I have. If I'm looking for specific key points or I want to summarize, I could put like a much larger textbook now in, and I could get, much better information out. So that's good.
Yeah, it's going to be very good for people in general. I'm wondering, like, at what point we get where they have enough GPUs to support 32K like context for any just plus subscriber. That might come eventually, but I don't think I don't think the physics are literally there for that right now. Like, we don't have enough physical GPUs in the location. Excuse me, I have to check something, but going forward though, okay, hold on. I forgot something that I was supposed to say earlier. Oh yeah, something to mention is that, like, with the smaller context models, they don't need, kind of like you said, like the normal person doesn't really need that. You take a picture of something. For example, I had an issue recently. ChatGPT helped me solve it really quickly. I had to swap out a faucet on my sink because it broke, and I could not get the bottom underneath the sink. You turn it off, and the water's off, and now you can change it, right? For whatever reason, it just wouldn't shut off all the way. And I didn't think about this and didn't really know, but it took a picture. It showed ChatGPT it, and it told me the reason that it's not closing all the way is because it probably hasn't been closed in like a decade. So there's a lot of calcified water in there. So just keep cranking it left and right, and it'll shut. Mm-hmm. Sure as shit, it shuts, right? That's something like a plumber would know, obviously, but not something I'm thinking about. Quickly helps me gather my thoughts, and I've fixed the problem. I don't have to go shut the water off at the street. ChatGPT directly solved the problem for me. So there's like
Does not need a large context window for that. Yeah, very small.
Yeah. So in a professional setting, people having larger context windows helps a lot because, even with someone who does some sort of technical writing or data entry, you name it, you can have way bigger data sheets that it has to refer to for how it's supposed to do something, right? So with that bigger context window, you can get really down in the weeds about how something needs to come out, and you get a immediate output the way you need it. And then they're obviously doing workspaces, which might mean there's an ability to someone works on something in their sector of the business or whatever, and then they forward it off to you in the ChatGPT interface, and you can quickly work together on stuff. So it's a lot more of like human and AIs all working together to like solve something. So the integration factor is the biggest thing. But we also have XAI is like explicitly talking about trying to solve in general like AI's ability to hallucinate. So just make shit up. Now that's something you probably know a little bit about anytime you've ever tried to ask ChatGPT about any legal stuff. It will gladly make shit up and send you a source that is made up as well. It's a 404 URL to its source.
Yeah.
So this is a big
Or
problem.
I've also had it just sometimes where it seems that it not even that it makes something. I guess it makes up. I guess it flips the script on the morality of the situation or the legality of it, and it like I guess where it'll make something up, but not only will it make something up, but it also like the outcome of what is the law is the exact opposite of what traditionally you would think it is, and it says no this, and it has this very fascinating justification for it. It's very interesting. So yeah, I would consider that hallucinatory in a way.
Yeah, I think one of the companies that was working on AI lawyer stuff, they had effectively the philosophy was that it's good that it hallucinates because it makes unique legal arguments to like help lawyers like defend their client, whatever. He may have broke the
Yeah.
law, but this is the morals and this is this, that, and why, right? Like you come up with an elaborate, it's very creative is what they do want out of these. So it's not necessarily a
Yeah,
bad thing
that's what I
for
thought because it's like
it's not a bad thing, but you do want it to
for the
cite actual
client.
sources.
Yeah, I had it a couple of times where it did actually cite sources correctly, but then um, the legal argument it made was like very. I mean, I wouldn't say that it was a bad legal argument, but it was not one that I would have personally made. It's in a situation where it's very clear, cut and dry that the person A has committed a crime, right? And then we're advising person A. And then ChatGPT 4, for example, just really was like, okay, well, let's just completely get them off. Let's like based on the data, like this, and this. There's this court case 200 years ago. Like very interesting. So instead of just being like, okay, this is just like the reality of the situation, which most lawyers would, it's like let's find the loopiest loophole to sort of mental gymnastics our way into, him not being liable.
That's funny. Like it literally is like there's no loss here that I'm going to try to take. Like it's going to try to figure it out. It's going to make those connections. So it goes to like a law
Yeah.
200 years ago, and it may not be instated now, but there is precedent. So I could see that.
There's
It's pretty
precedent.
funny.
Yeah. So forth. Yeah.
So I think we're in for a pretty big week for AI. Everything's
definitely.
everything's about to start moving fast. We also have we're waiting on Inflection to release their big fucking model that they keep saying is going to happen. They say it's going to be 10 times larger than GPT-4. I bet.
I haven't heard anything out of the Meta. I haven't heard anything really recently. I'm wondering if I know that the Zuck Elon rivalry is like for show, but I do wonder if the release of this is gonna prompt in more
Well,
hurried schedules, let's say.
yeah, I mean the other thing I've seen with the like conflict between those two is with the recent Rogan podcast, which was entertaining more or less, but it's very clear why Elon wasn't speaking about AI. They only spoke about AI like for 5 minutes at the end. So that was awkward, but basically they weren't speaking about it until, he did his announcement. So it was kind of awkward timing for them to do that podcast, in my opinion. I would have loved to hear him sit down and break stuff down for Rogan, but it was weird. But anyways, he basically said, like, I will fight Zuckerberg at any time, any rules, right? Doesn't matter. It's like, I would like to train, but I don't need to train. I don't need to get in shape. I'll fight him tomorrow, right? And he just like steering shit, sparking that rivalry again. Can't do that though, because I think Zuckerberg tore his ACL. I saw like him in the hospital. He pulled one. So he's out of commission for the while. So
He might have actually. He might have actually done that though.
No, I believe him.
I give that. But he probably actually did.
No, that dude trains all the time. He pulled some shit. He went a little too hard one day, or his training partner did, and that's what happened. So, no fight.
His training partner that tore his ACL. His training partner disappeared off the face of the earth.
Do you really think is that serious?
No. I feel like it would be a little stressful. I don't know, to be the training partner of like someone that's that important though, and like a boxing or like a mixed martial arts training partner of like the president or like a prime minister or like a king of a country. Don't you think that would be a little stressful though?
Well, there's still adage of like a king doing jousting. Nobody wants to win versus the king. They'll kill you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then also if you like hurt him, or really hurt him, like stuff's bad, so you got to be like easy. I guess you just need a real professional at that point, someone who keeps their emotions cool and shit like that. But yeah, that would be a very stressful job. I bet you get paid really well to be the guy training Zuckerberg.
I bet, yeah. Training wouldn't be bad. This is sparring. I think would just be too stressful. No. You don't want to get your ass kicked.
I suppose you could have the opposite effect where Mike Tyson used to have a lot of trouble like finding sparring partners because he would just beat the shit out of him.
Because no one wanted to spar against him. Yeah. Wow. Would you want to spar against Mike Tyson?
For the story. It'd be funny.
I wouldn't. No.
No,
And prime Mike Tyson? No, because it's not, the story isn't good if you are hooked up to like the little tube in your mouth. You're intubated. And they like, you like the tube in your mouth and everything, but then there's no story.
I don't think prime Mike Tyson. I don't think prime Mike Tyson's going to brain damage you in a sparring match, like in any way. He's going to knock your ass down, but he's not going to brain damage you.
Okay, I will say in the scenario where I am sparring him because I'm supposed to be sparring him, yeah, that's probably true. But if I just like wake up tomorrow, prime Mike Tyson sparring, he probably actually could mess me up because I don't know how to take hits. I don't know how to guard myself. So, it's a bit different.
Where he would brain damage you is if you were in a bar and coked up Mike Tyson walks in, because that's part of his story is he do like a brick of cocaine a week or some crazy shit like that, go into bars and fight anyone he could, basically. Like,
yeah.
Part of his strange sparring strategy was to just beat up strangers, which is a common thing.
Yeah.
a common thing with a lot of UFC fighters and boxers over the years. Like they've just been badass like bar fighters, just scrappers, you know?
Yeah, they just at the pub one day. Their bud goes, "Hey man, you really can kick some ass." And they're like, "Yeah, I should kick ass professionally."
Yeah, that's probably how it goes for a lot of people. You wouldn't know until you fought. Oh God, I don't want to click that GIF.
So you know the story behind the Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield ear bite. Yeah, you know the story.
Basically, I think he was headbutting him or something.
Yeah, he was headbutting him over and over and over, and like Tyson doesn't never really lost his chill in the ring, to be honest, from what I know. But then when he was headbutting him, that really got inside Tyson's head, and he couldn't. It's not that he was losing necessarily; it's the fact that the headbutts just kept getting like it got to him, and then he just snapped and he bit the guy's ear.
I really think there's a world where we hit longevity and Mike Tyson comes back.
I thought you were gonna say there's a point where we hit longevity and Evander Holyfield gets his ear back.
No, no, that has to
No, he
stay
doesn't
off.
get it. He stays like that.
If it
That has
grows
to
back,
stay
we got to
off.
cut it off.
Mike Tyson go bite it off again. And you do see, if you ever see, he's got a chunk of his fucking ear for the rest of his life, chunk of his ear. Yeah, that cartilage does not regrow.
Have you ever seen? There's a really funny like video of those two sitting next to each other. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm really sorry I beat you off." It's really funny. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's actually hilarious.
Didn't mean to bite you off.
I'm sorry, I thought I bit your ear off.
Your headbutt me.
Didn't mean to bite your ear off.
That's pissing me off. But he,
He's a great guy.
yeah, he's interested. Isn't he like running like whole weed businesses now in California? Tyson.
I think he's doing a lot of stuff, man. He's I know I'm more interested in like his like meditation and like how he like calms himself and like centers himself, you know, because of where he's come from to where he is now emotionally as a person. I think that's really fascinating.
I don't have a lot of like quotes from him that I think of, but I'll say he's probably the closest thing we have to today of a modern day philosopher. I'm like 100%
I say
serious.
like warrior poet. As far as like warrior poet, like a bard. He is a bard. He's a bard. He's a Dungeons and Dragons bard. You know, he's a poet fighter. He's a bard.
Listen, my point is that like if you go enough like in the future, like ignoring all the future shit that's about to happen, but like he would be a someone who's quoted for 500 years out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of stuff that he'll say, has said, or eventually will say. And it's not even like his crazy fight shit he said. It's just like his current like 2010 and on persona.
Well, I think the thing is when he says stuff, there's so much gravity and there's so much weight in the words. The words carry so much weight because of the life. We all know the life he's lived, and we all know that he was, you know, at the top, you know, and he had that violence. He had that demon in him, and so when he says stuff, you know, he means it. It's not just some guy. It's like Logan or Jake Paul said the exact same thing. It wouldn't really mean anything. Wouldn't have any like. Okay, they box or whichever one boxes. I don't actually pay attention to those two jackasses. But point being, you know, like it doesn't. There's no weight to it. I think that matters as well. Like to me, at least, it does.
Yeah. Something I was kind of thinking about recently in regards to like philosophy is I hang out with someone who's like super into philosophy and stuff like that. But like, how long till you genuinely have an AI that can not only like comprehend all this philosophy, maybe it's Grok, by the way, but actually starts producing novel philosophies on life and humanity and the nature of existence?
But I feel like we're really not that far away from AI creating like really profound philosophy. like
I-
really profound. Like there's like, because like I'm not trying to be an elitist, okay? I'm not trying to be an elitist, but you're 18. You take your philosophy 101 course, you know. You read a little Marcus Aurelius. I actually love Marcus Aurelius, by the way. You read some Plato, you read some Socrates, you read, some different, people, and then you're like, oh, you read some Kant, you read some Nietzsche, and then you just go out there and you're like, ooh, that's so deep. Oh, what's the meaning of that? You know what I mean? Like that. There's that profound, and there's like genuinely, truly profound, like actually depth, like substantive. Like there is substance to it. There is meat and potatoes depth. I think that it's very close to being able to do that. Because what's the old meme where it's like, oh, I'm 14 and this is deep. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where like they watch like a TikTok where someone like something happens and they're like, oh my god, that's so deep. Oh, I cried. Oh, that's oh.
well, it's not like okay. So I saw like a brief like little summary of a Google paper recently where they're effectively trying to say that current GPT model architecture can't generalize or they're like asserting that it can't create any novel thought beyond its training data. But even if that's true, we're going to have synthetic training data, and you can create seeds and create random data, kind of like the Library of Babel. I joke that maybe we should train one on the Library of Babel. If you know what that is, it's like 500 and something characters, and it's technically just because it's random character in each position. It's every word that'll ever be written within that context window. Like the parts of this conversation, you can go search it on the Library of Babel, and it'll show up exactly how we say it. And it's just the nature of like the math of it, right? So effectively, I think that through this type of thing, we can generate all the possible novel thought there is, and then the AI itself will be able to parse through and figure out what's bullshit over time. So that's an eventual thing of like, I think even if it can't go outside of its training data, we can just expound the training data with synthetic data, and now we have stuff that it can think through. And that's my general like position there, is that like even if that's true, it's just going to eventually surpass things. Because recently Bill Gates said that like we're pretty much at a roadblock with all this stuff. He I don't know, he's just kind of like, this is pretty much as good as AI is going to get for a while.
I don't agree with that at all.
It's so weird. Like it accelerates so fast in the short period of time. They got old Bill Gates walking by,
And then we're done. I think we're done now. There's no more accelerating to be had.
Well, he said he could.
I don't know why I sound like the guy from A Christmas Story.
I don't know about that, but the point I'm making is like, he says he could be wrong. There are very intelligent people working on the project of creating AGI, you name it, right? But like, I think this is why so many people liked what's it called? I think this is why so many people liked Steve Jobs so much more, because he's just very idealist about things. Like if you go back, there's an old speech or like talk he had where he's talking about like eventually completely simulating like Socrates in a computer and talking to him. We're fucking there. Like I could train a model right now, and it'll have every bit of written text that we could possibly find on him, and even written about him. And it would do a pretty good job of representing the way that guy thought. And that's a very novel thought for him to have. It's not something that Bill Gates probably wouldn't have, but the point is, I think it's like, it's the, we always talk about the fucking doomers, and it's just like, you got the guy who is responsible for half the shit we have.
Womp
With
womp.
he's kind of created this like beautiful possible future that we're gonna have, but he's just in the background, like, none of this fucking matters. Like, it's so weird. I don't understand
I
it.
think it's good. I think it's good if Bill Gates is AI negative because everyone hates Bill Gates.
That's true.
So, like, there's an old South Park episode, and I don't remember the context of it, but I know at some point in time, some of the members, some of the adults in South Park dress up, join the Klan to support something because they know everyone hates the Ku Klux Klan, right? And so they know, okay, so if we convince the Ku Klux Klan to support this, which they don't support the thing, and everyone hates the Ku Klux Klan, then guess what? People will not support it. And that's kind of like the way if Bill Gates, everyone hates Bill Gates, right? So if everyone hates Bill Gates, if Bill Gates becomes very AI negative, that's probably good for AI acceleration because everyone's like, oh, well, why does Bill Gates not like it? Bill Gates is evil. Bill Gates
That's
is
a good point.
putting poison and throwing drones in Africa. Or I see people saying all kinds of shit. I don't know if any of it's true, but they just say like, oh, Bill Gates is like putting the Resident Evil zombie virus and mosquitoes in Africa, and he's creating all these vaccines. He's gonna do all this shit. Like people just like I don't know if any of it's true. I haven't looked.
They really
into
are
it. I
trying
don't
to do
know
the
if Bill Gates
mosquito
is an
thing.
evil guy.
They've done it a few times with certain vaccines, and it hasn't worked very well.
But I just know people hate Bill Gates, and so if Bill Gates becomes super anti AI, all the people that are like really scared of AI are going to be like, oh, I like this AI guy. Who's this AI? I'm going to look into this. Who's this AI guy Bill Gates doesn't like, huh?
The hacker known
Who
as
is this guy?
4chan.
The hacker knows it.
Yeah.
This AI guy and Bill Gates don't get along. I think I like that AI guy. If he's scaring Bill Gates, he's a good guy in my book.
Yeah, I think the weirdest part is like it's so close to being where everyone can just talk to AI in general. It's not their user interface wise,
Super
but
close.
it's fucking
Super
close. So
it is
close.
pretty close. It's like the distribution of the internet via the smartphone. Just like boom, everyone has internet.
You think we got like the loneliness epidemic, right? Where Elon talked about this recently, where he says he's got a autistic child, right, who is not good at making friends. And he just blatantly said, I don't know if this is wise to say out loud. I probably wouldn't talk about it if it was my kid, right? But whatever. He's fucking Elon. He can do whatever he wants. But basically he said that like his kid isn't very good at making friends and he could use like a genuine AI friend.
I actually
Excuse me. But yeah, he could use a genuine like AI friend for his kid. Like it is. So yeah.
I have a friend. Okay. Good example. I have a friend. I feel bad. This is the reality. He's not good with women. He's bad. He's not good at all. He has no skill with them whatsoever. Okay. Love him to death. He's a very sweet guy. But he's got the cards are stacked against him in regards to women. I think best case scenario would be for him to just talk to some LLM chat GPT 4 bot with a picture of a really cute looking lady and just that's it. Because then like if he thinks it's a woman, he's gonna at least then, be communicating. And like the good thing here is like the bot's not gonna be like, oh, I hate you, you're a piece of shit, and it's not gonna give him bad advice, right? So it's not like I'm not worried like, oh, I told my friend to go start a relationship with the LLM, and then let's use Grok because I want to say Grok more. I like Grok. Yeah, Grok, right? Yeah. So he's dating Grok. Yeah, this is what I wanted. So I tell my friend to go date Grok. And like I'm not worried Grok's gonna like give him bad advice or Grok's gonna fuck his life up or Grok's gonna like decrease his like I guess his, like his drive in life. It's not going to tell him to give up on his dreams. You know what I mean? It's not going to give so like, yeah, like that's what he needs. Because if he's continually having these very bad interactions with women, where it's like, hey, I think you're cute, and they're like, oh, you're kind of creepy and gross looking. I don't like you. Get away from me. Like that. I would much rather have him just talk to the robot. And I told him, I was like, you should just give up on just talk to the robot because it's so much, it's better. Like if you're being treated like shit, and I'm not saying that like sometimes people are treated like shit for a reason, right? But sometimes people just the world is very harsh and judgmental of those who are not objectively good looking, right? So I think for people who have social issues, for people who have been dealt a bad hand genetically, I think it's somewhere it's an opportunity for a non-judgmental companionship that has never been present.
This is something Elon has explicitly talked about as well, is like companionship in general with AI. And I don't think he really thought about that before. I think I saw an interview with him with I think it was his Lex interview where he's asked about that. Like, what do you think about the Tesla bot for companionship with people that are lonely? And it looked like he hadn't, that really hadn't occurred to him specifically. He hadn't really thought about it. And I think that probably led to him thinking more about it in this way as well, where, especially in regards to robotics in general, you have something that embodies the AI girlfriend or whatever, as creepy as that gets at some point, but at least for like a friendship's sake.
Well, I mean, at some point, the robot becomes smarter than a person.
It's going to be fine, right? Like, I guess. But the point I'm making is that, like, in a companionship sense, just purely, right, you have an unbelievable amount of people that are lonely out there that have nobody to talk to, nobody's there, they feel like nobody's got their back, you name it, right? Like they're just fucking lonely, and it sucks. And maybe that's going to be good enough for some people. There's, modern solutions require or modern problems require modern solutions, and this might be one of them.
Little robot seals? What do you mean by seals?
Well, the arf seals.
Little robot seals? Do people with dementia like seals? Okay, yeah, that's. They can give them. Okay, yeah. If I had dementia, that would make me probably. I mean, it'd make me happy now.
I was going to say I don't need dementia for that thing to make me happy.
Yeah, I'm happy right now just looking at that GIF. Like a little. Imagine you have a little robot version of that. Hanging around.
Robots don't have to be humanoid, and like as we get better at it, you're gonna have weird little cute robots. Like there's gonna be a lot of people that just have Wall-E going around their house. Like someone's gonna make replicas, and they're gonna be great.
I'm gonna look this up. Let me look this up. I'm really curious about this.
How to buy Wall-E?
How to buy Wall? No. Oh, that's so cute. It's a little robotic seal. Oh my god! And they give it to the old people. Oh. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that old wrinkly woman petting that. Look at the seal. Little robot seal. That's so sweet. Give every old person a little robot. Why did they choose seal? I guess is my first question. Like out of all the animals to choose, they're like,
Are they not the cutest
what
animal?
What can we give to elderly? They're fucking adorable, but I wouldn't think of them on the top of cute lists. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, geez, we want to make a robot companion for old people, cute and fluffy. Seal, like that's just like. Am I wrong? Or is that not kind of like?
They can't take care of a cat, Johnny. So they got dementia.
Well, it's a fucking robot.
The cat will eat them, Johnny. The robot seal won't.
Cat?
No, it doesn't have to be a robot
A
cat.
robot cat. A robot cat would eat
No,
them. A
no,
robot cat.
a
It doesn't
real
matter.
cat.
It doesn't matter.
A real cat will eat you.
Well, they're not giving them real seals, though, are they?
Dementia patient
I'm just saying,
asleep too long, cat eats you. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, like, you would think that they would start with like robotic cats or robotic dogs, but they were just like robotic seal.
No.
There it is. Off the dome.
Dogs and cats are quadrupeds, right? It needs a lot more to balance it and go around,
yeah,
right?
you're right.
So
Nope.
a fucking
Yep.
seal just
Yep.
lays there and flaps its fucking things. That's all it has to do. Arf. Yeah, there you go. And that's all you needed from the seal, was it to arf. Lays on its belly. There you go. Engineering thing.
And I can but you know what? The one thing about robotic seals that just make them like completely inferior is that I can't feed them little fishes. You ever seen them eat the little fishes? How excited they get! Oh, they're so excited when they eat.
Have you ever seen?
They do the thing where they their necks up here and they go and they just suck that.
Have you ever seen?
I'm gonna look up seal gif.
Have you ever seen the seal that could speak? Basically, this is old like New York guy or like New Jersey guy, I can't remember, but he had like a seal and they kept it in like a bathtub in their house for a while. And this fucking seal would escape the bathtub, and the old man would basically go, get out of here, right? And then there's a whole video of this video and recording of this thing, and as it comes out of the water, it's just parroting what its old fucking owner used to say, and it's like kept in like a zoo now, right? And it's a fucking seal going, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And it's just saying it over and over again. It's so fucking weird. I never expected a seal to have the vocal cords to literally say words that we can.
This man came to my university and asked what we thought the best-selling robot was. And his answer was this robot seal, the one that you were talking about earlier, I assume. But I said the Roomba, and he was annoyed that I ruined his presentation. Well, yeah, because the Roomba definitely sold far more volume than any other robot ever.
Yeah.
And the Roomba is a robot.
Yeah, I think you kind of fucked up everything. He has to say, non-vacuum cleaner.
That's his fault.
That's why he needs to add that to the front of his thing now because of you.
What is the greatest non-vacuum cleaner robot ever sold? Best selling ever. Non-vacuum cleaning. It doesn't suck. It does not suck up the dirt of the robot. It's not a vacuum cleaner. Let's make that explicitly clear. Explicitly clear. It does not suck up dirt. It would be the seal.
Why is Trump
if it wasn't for the Roomba?
Is Trump selling the seal bot now? Is that what's going on here?
I don't know. Just the quickness of which you went, not vacuum cleaner. Seemed like something he would do. He'd be like, well, I like that. I like that. They don't do that though. No, that's not a vacuum cleaner. If you take those out, if you get them out of here, we're going to build a big wall. Keep all the vacuum cleaner robots out.
Okay, Johnny.
Only seals.
So,
sorry.
What was I going to say? Well, that goes to you're probably going to be able to teach the seals how to speak very quickly with Neuralink. I'm still waiting on more for the I really want to find out more about it, but it's the machine learning that they're doing with whales, where they're getting to the point where they're able to mimic things whales say back to them, and they'll eventually like A/B test to the point where they could talk to the whale. That's eventually going to happen.
I think we're going to be really surprised when we talk to animals how fucking boring it is. Food, hungry, playtime. What was that, squirrel? Like, it's not.
Well, that was the joke in the Up movie, right? With the dog with the collar on. Squirrel! Like, it just like, I don't know, you know? It's, so yeah, I guess it might be actually fucking.
Food.
What if with like I guess dolphins or things with very large, capable brains?
I don't. Not dolphins. No.
You think it's going to be like just an IQ thing? Like they just can't
Anything but dolphins.
What?
Any other animal, I'll listen to them. Not dolphins.
What's wrong with the dolphins?
I'm not going to listen to the rapist of the sea. I don't care what they have to say.
Listen here, Chief. Any animal you talk to is going to be half a rapist, half of this, half of that. That's just the animal kingdom. You're going to have to deal with it. New morals you got to deal with.
Never again.
When you're introducing the animal kingdom, dude, fucking imagine dolphins.
Hashtag not all dolphins.
Dolphins shit posting on the internet. It's going to happen in your lifetime.
Not all dolphins are rapists, okay? It is an offensive stereotype, okay? Not all dolphins. There's just a few bad dolphins out there, okay? And you're gonna judge the rest of sea mammals, the Sea World, couple of bad Sea World trips, and all of a sudden, what? Dolphins are rapists? I think the most evil animals, if they gained sentience, but like kept a lot of their like sort of how do I put that? Because dolphins also save people a lot, don't they? A lot of stories about like people getting saved. I only hear. This is really fucked up. The only story, and then I'll get back to my other point. The only stories I hear about dolphins is they're like either saving someone or they're raping them. Is that like the 50-50?
I haven't really
dolphin's head.
I'm not sure, but I haven't heard about
save this human.
I haven't heard about dolphins specifically raping people. I've only heard about people having sex with dolphins. It's like a fucking thing with like the zookeeper, you know, they get into it. It's a whole disgusting fucking thing. But it's a real thing. I don't know about the rape though. I do know that dolphins rape seals though. They like fucking drag them to the bottom of the ocean and it's bad. That's all I'm going to say.
Not the little robot seal, not Graham's little robot. Oh my god!
Well, he
gave him a Neuralink, and he went and he molested Graham's robot seal.
You give them the robot seal so they can ethically rape. It's just a robot. Think about it.
Never say the words
ethical rape. Come on, man. It's the dolphins need to get it off, right? And I've got a new business venture for the seal company. If they run out of dementia, if they run out of dementia patients, I got them. It's going to happen. We need more seals. Fuck, man. The seals, like, they need more seals, a lot.
You bastard.
Those poor seals cute are like creatures. They're the chicken nuggets of the sea.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is I think that like the most evil animals are going to be like a cat. Like if you gave like a cat and it has its same sort of behavioral patterns, but it's got like an human's level of intelligence. You know, I think that it would be fucking evil. And then what else? Not just a cat, man. Just a fucking cat. Not to say that cats are pure evil. Cats will be like, oh, we're family and all that's cool. But then cats will see like something like a rat or like a mouse or like even like a toddler. And they'll be like, I'm going to push that thing over and I'm going to bounce it around. And I'm going to claw at it and play with it.
I wonder if like you in the figurative thing, you teach like a dog like English through Neuralink connection or whatever. And it can telekinesis with other dogs. Like, do they fight more? That's what I'm wondering. Do they get pissed off better? Like, I don't know.
Do they resolve their if they can communicate using a higher form of language other than do you think that they would be able to solve their issues more amicably?
Have you ever seen the really fucking weird episode of South Park where like it turns out Earth is just like a game show? And it's all the different animals are from all different planets, right? Like there's Giraffe World, there's Zebra World, and then they put them all on Earth and like made it a game show, right? These aliens, it's fucking stupid, right? But
That's hilarious. I've
I
not
could
seen
s-
that, and I'm really upset.
I could see a reverse of that where like eventually you have like a evolutionary path of like most animals that could, probably mammals mostly, but could effectively have sentience, maybe some octopus, where they're
I always
through
forget about the old octopus.
there's theories that if octopus lived longer than 7 years at a time, they'd rule Earth. Very capable creatures, but the point I'm making is like, what if you have the reverse, where over time, because various animals through AI and stuff have larger degrees of sentience, right? They effectively have, we get to the point where we're exploring Earth and stuff. You find a fucking ocean planet, and the octopus want to live there. This is like a weird little theory, but who knows? Yeah,
Fuck me, the ocean planet.
because like at some point, maybe you do have like everything is way better in the simulation or the fucking the VR world, whatever you want to call it, right? So most people just upload because it's just better for whatever reason. Maybe animals would join too. You get to be a good, I don't know, a dog forever or something. I don't know. Whatever the fucking thing wants to do. But there's also the path that like we expand out into the cosmos and dolphins want their own fucking planet. And now you have the reverse happening of that stupid game show that I saw when I was younger. And I can totally see how it's all possible now. It's weird times we live in. Dolphin Planet.
I'm not visiting it. I still don't trust them. Them and cats. They get too smart. Don't trust them. I would be more afraid of I would be more afraid of hyper intelligent dolphins than hyper intelligent AI.
Just stay on land, you fucking idiot.
And I think the most terrifying thing would be hyper intelligent cats. Talking like 2 or 3 times more intelligent than humans, but they're still cats. That would be terrifying.
Just picturing like the robot chicken logo now. You remember that show?
Yeah. I don't think that it was very popular in England, or maybe it wasn't popular when Jasmine was a kid, but I was showing her clips and she just kind of seemed like disgusted by Robot Chicken. She was just like, I think she laughed at some things. But she mostly just seemed like, oh, this is very graphic and over the top. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, good, isn't it?
They only got away with that because of like the animatronics, or not animatronics, but like the claymation stuff and posing action figures. Like you could never make like a real show like that at that time. What on earth is this,
Yeah.
Michael? Oh, it's the Robo Dog. German
A
Shepherd
snowflake.
Planet?
I
do you
think that
think?
dog's name was Snowflake, if I remember correctly.
I never watched Rick and Morty. I always get like the recommendation. But anyone
I'm not
honest,
watching. The new season it doesn't sound right.
anyone honest always tells me the first season's good, and then just don't watch the rest.
The rest is hit or miss episode wise. There's some episode. I don't think any of my favorite episodes are in the first season. Put it that way. But the first season is probably the most consistent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that was their point. The person that told me this.
Yeah. But like that's okay. So here's all I give a shit about when it comes to AI is speaking of discontinued and failed franchises, which it will soon be. Firefly. Yeah. Nathan Fillion, Firefly.
No
who
idea.
only got 1 season. AI, make more seasons of it. That's what I want.
Well, have you ever seen Marco Polo?
The film?
It's a thing about like Marco Polo meaning Genghis Khan. It's a whole. It's it's
He
fucking.
did?
I don't fucking know. Probably did. He was busy. Anyways, The point is, it's a fun show, right? But it only goes for 2 seasons, and then you just have no idea what goes on after, and it's dissatisfying. Just like anyone watching Berserk, and soon to be anyone who's reading the Game of Thrones series. Don't. I'm gonna cry.
You know the Berserk theme always. Oh, dude, it hits. It hits really hard. Oh, fuck
Yeah,
that.
I still to this day, when I hear the Berserk theme song, that fucking song that you just did,
I get
I
depressed.
actually I hurt. My body hurts. Like that whole story just fucking hurts, and I still don't have the goddamn end of it. Oh, yeah. Okay. We have we have a Hollywood precedence for what happens when you give apes intelligence. So that could happen. Bro, I don't need to be reminded of that scene.
And then I'll be like in a comments section on something about Berserk, and then you'll like see someone be like, "Oh, Griffith didn't do anything wrong."
It's the best troll of any Berserk community you can do. Another good one is you act like you like Berserk, right? I love Berserk. It's great. And then someone will like talk about Griffith, and you go, "Who's Griffith?" And you just it fucking makes them go ape shit. That's
I
the
don't
whole
remember that
community
guy.
you can fuck around with. They're very passionate about that story. It's been going on for 30 years. Will never be finished because
Was
the
that the
author,
guy who used the throwing knives?
the author's dead. So now AI needs to come in and finish it.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, kind of like cleaning up code, like bad code, right? AI will eventually just be able to go into any code base and clean it up, make it fucking damn near bug-free, spotless, right? With stories, it'll do the same, because there's examples in Game of Thrones where man riding it's a flawed human. A horse between one book and another in Game of Thrones changes gender, right? With AI, it can just constantly, while it's generating whatever book set that humans want to read, it can go back and retroactively constantly update the context of everything. So there's always continuity between start to finish. Honestly, like damn near perfect stories as far as continuity is coming, where it would
that would ruin it for me if I was reading a book and they refer to the horse as the wrong gender. I'd be like, fuck this, and I just sell all the books.
Honestly, I think you're a bit autistic if you can point that out. Book to book like that, the person that like noticed that is seriously paying too much attention. I'm impressed. Don't get me wrong.
Get checked.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is like these stories, like writing gets better with AI, and I don't know what people think about that, but the stories are going to be more fun, way more engaging, way more interesting, and like I said, continuity, you name it. But
do you remember those make your own adventure novels? Flip to page this, and then this happens.
Maybe, but probably not. Like I get the concept already, though.
So it'd be like, yeah. So like basically, it'd be like you reading the book, and then you get like 3 options. It's like if you choose option A, go to this page. Option B, go to that page. Option C, go to this page. And then you would get to actually choose the way the adventure went. I love reading those. Those are fantastic. Yeah, that's what it could be like.
With 32K context, you could create a pretty comprehensive one now. Like, it would keep track of it enough. So that tech is already here. So
and once AI, I mean, like, 'cause CGI is pretty much to the point where I'd say in the next like 10, like without AI, within the next 5 years, you could do a completely procedurally generated movie and it look pretty close to real, like it was actually filmed. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty much
so.
where Unreal Engine's going.
And at that point, then you get the voices. You make the models do the thing. You get your runtime. Bada bing, bada boom. You're good. Movie. There's a movie. You get your
Well,
script. Your AI writes the script. CGI is the people. CGI is all the other shit. CGI, fucking AI does the voice acting.
Yeah, this is the part of the fear with like generative AI is that you effectively now have the box that you can stare into that you never look away from, and you die there because it's so entertaining. That's very close. We're
Well, if the box is so entertaining that I just sit and stare until I die, then like fuck, I want to look at it. I want to at least take a peek. You know, I'm just saying, like, sounds like
call it the Medusa, like the company. Snakes stare at you and you go to
that's
stone.
great. Gotta play on words. Gotta do that like really witty, fucked up play on words. Like because I think that's like like on one hand, that's like the oh my god, but there's just like so much stuff that the person's missing out on or whatever bullshit like argument that I usually make. But at the end of the day, like if you got me zone in the goon chair, right, and I'm just satisfied, like, and I think I want to get out, and that thought never crosses my mind, then what the fuck? If it's that good, it's that good. I'm not missing anything. I mean, if anyone ever thinks that they're missing out on something while they're in their fucking like matrix hooked up, bullshit, then they have the option to, which obviously we would, because we wouldn't design a system you're forced into because we're not
You're the
like
man that
robot
eats the steak,
overlords.
aren't you? In the Matrix. Ignorance is bliss.
What was his name? Uh, that was Ralph Cifaretto from Sopranos. She was a hoa. She was a hoa.
That guy's been like so many different things. He's always like
So many movies.
he's always such a
Cypher. It was Cypher.
Cypher. Yeah, he's always a key
Got it.
character in anything he plays. Key.
Always. Yeah. But like never a main character. But always important.
Yeah, but like in The Sopranos, like he's very important to like the way the story plays out and the beefs that happen because he has to kill him, because of what he did. You name it. Like the guy always plays like a I don't know, like a pivotal role in whatever he does. Most times I've seen him at least. Yeah.
He was a hoa.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I like that guy. He's got a funny voice.
But I don't. Yeah, he does. He's got an interesting voice. I didn't realize until I watched it that Steve Buscemi was in Sopranos. It's interesting how many series Steve Buscemi is just like, oh, here I am. I'm in this now.
Have you ever watched Boardwalk Empire?
He's in that. I know that.
He's not only
good
in
in
that,
that,
he's
too.
the main thing. And like, man, with cinematography and like cinematography and just suit, like holy shit, a suit does so much for a man. But like, and his hair looks good. Like he looks like a fucking he's always he's got his weird face, right? Like, but he's like a fucking attractive male leading role in the way they present him in all the wrappings of like that attire, you name it. Like he's perfect for that role. It's crazy. It's such a like a cinematic masterpiece. That entire series, fucked up series, but fun to watch. If you like Sopranos, I recommend it highly. You looking at Boardwalk Empire over there, Johnny?
I'm looking at young Steve Buscemi. I think this is young Steve Buscemi. He's always had a strange face, but I think there's a weird attractiveness to him. I think there's a strange attractiveness to Steve. He's got quite a nice jawline.
Yeah, he's got like certain features, and then he's just a strange looking fellow. But
And
yeah.
he's just like this, though. He's like this all the time.
Okay, Johnny, I get it. Don't do that.
I was going to say something. Don't remember what it was.
No idea. What it
Oh,
was about.
that's another TV series. Another TV series that I doubt you've watched. That's one of my favorite science fiction TV series, and I need to rewatch it. Is Fringe.
Never heard of it.
If
What's
you've
it
it's
about?
like so, you know, on the X Files, you like watch the X Files, and like, oh, there's just a good space alien ghost thing, and oh, it's totally real. And at the end, they're like, or was it? And it's just like this, like
The
whatever. And
the
Fringe, it's like,
Evangelion ending.
yeah. And Fringe is just like, yeah, no, it's real. This is what it is. This is how it's made. Like it's out there. You know what I mean? Like it's like the X Files, but they don't do the ooh, who knows what's really going on. They're like, this is like this shit's going on. Why is this going on? This shouldn't be happening. Why is this happening? How is this happening?
It's
Like that's
actually
how
a solid
Fringe
show.
was. Oh, oh, uh, dude. The male scientist from this, right, is like this classic 50s, 60s, you know, scientist doing all the crazy experiments with LSD and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then it's set in like the late 2000s. Yeah. And he's like just gotten out of like a mental institution and he's like completely lost his mind. But he's like still really, really highly intelligent. He's probably like the greatest scientist ever. Right. And so, like, yeah, there he is, Walter. Yeah, he's brilliant, brilliant actor. But in the show, so he's this brilliant scientist, but he's also like a child, and in the fact that he scares very easily because he spent so much time in the loony bin, and he is very fragile with his emotions as well. So he'll be very like just such an intense. He has such an intensity and such strength, and then a moment later, he's like they'll be like dissecting someone, and he'll be like, oh, do you know what I could really go for right now? He's like a Reuben sandwich, and he'll be like digging in like guts, and everyone's like, Walter, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. Oh my god, Walter's like the best, the
You,
best. Michael, have you
you
watched?
know, have I watched what? Oh, Michael. Yeah, yeah. He's
It's fantastic,
obviously
isn't it?
watched, for the record. Like it's very clear with his gifts there. He wouldn't
Yes.
know. But for the record, one that you might like, but I don't know. I only got to like a couple episodes into season 2, but the first season's really solid. But it's called, I think it's called The Nick. It's like a 1910, 1915 New York era, like when they were making all the new surgical breakthroughs, like on actually not killing patients, basically. And it's like the main character is like an amalgamation of 3 or 4 separate real doctors during that time who were doing like real medical experiments to like try to save people's lives. And
Mhm.
so that's like the main character. But I would say the way you describe that guy, he's a lot like that as far as the just that, the mad genius, just always experimenting. Very smart. It's a fun show, but I never watched past like season 2 though, so can't speak for the rest of it.
Yeah. I think it's probably my favorite science fiction series of all time.
Put it on my
I say that
eventual watch list.
as someone who's a big, 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 big interest in science fiction. Like it's got to be up there.
Yeah, I've been like the one science fiction show that I'm actually like kind of digging into is I never got into
And
Star
it
Trek.
had an ending. Oh,
Never,
excuse me?
never.
Are you serious?
But I've been chipping away at like I don't know why I saw someone like
Captain John Picard.
I saw someone doing like a what's it called, like a watch along or whatever, and it was like the first episode of I think Next Generation is the one I'm watching, and I don't know why I'm starting with that one, but there was something about the show and the set when I was watching this person watch this where it was so fucking comfy that it's like it's the perfect like I'm eating a meal or whatever like show.
So comfortable.
It's the
so
most
comfy.
comfortable show I've ever seen.
all the background noises and everything. It's just so. I feel like I understand why autistic people love Star Trek.
Dude, you could die
Because, like,
there.
it just.
Like for real. It's great.
I could. You could surround me in Star Trek, and like, I could die, and I'd be happy. It's just so comfortable. Okay, so here original series is like the campy hokey version, right? It's like, Scotty, I need you to beam me up. The alien life on this planet is hostile. Like that, but it's still good. Then watch The Next Generation, and then you watch Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is a little more gritty, but it's not like too good. Cisco's a great captain. But the real breakout roles there is probably the Scottish guy. Oh my God, the Scottish guy. Oh, the engineer. Come on, brain. He's great. He's married to Kiko.
Scotty, I don't, like.
Anyway, no, Scotty, no. Anyways, point being, DS9's fantastic. And then afterwards, is he Irish? I thought he was Scottish. He might be Irish. Whoops. So watch original. So Next Generation. Then you can go back and watch original. Then you do DS9. Then you do Voyager, and then you can watch. And then you don't have to watch any more Star Trek after that. You're done. That's it. That's all you have to watch.
Okay.
Don't watch anything after that. Don't do anything after Voyager. It's not real.
Yeah. Anyways, I been enjoying that. That's like a super solid one. I watched the one where like I got to one point. I don't know. I watched a lot of it over time. It's like something I've been chipping away at for a bit. But I watched the one episode where like it's like absolute perfect land where like everything's peaceful. There's gardens everywhere and stuff. But the one kid like steps on something basically and busts something.
Wesley.
Yeah. And he's like, he gets executed basically. Or they try to execute him and then, the fucking starship just takes him away, But, there's a lot of contradictions to the show as far as like philosophy goes. But one of my favorite things about like the Star Trek universe is that they have this concept that this is the future. Every fucking problem humanity had, we solved them. Like that's their, there's something cool about that storyline, like that line of like, here's the future we want. Is like everything you fucking complain about right now or irks you, you name it, Star Trek solved it. Like that and we're going forward and just like exploring the universe. That's cool.
And that's why you stop after about Voyager, because they retcon some of that stuff. Like in Star Trek Picard, they're like, I'm addicted to drugs. Oh, Picard, you're rich.
I've heard about that.
You were privileged.
I've heard about that, and it's like it's such like a betrayal of the source material.
It's sickening. It's
well, the point,
I spit on it.
The irony of the AI future is that you could just go re-edit all that, and that won't be in there.
I can go re-edit history so that the people who created that and were behind that are never remembered.
Okay.
No one will ever utter their name or ever think about them again.
Plot hole AI's got your back, is all I'm saying. You're gonna be fine.
They say there's two deaths that occur: the moment that you breathe your last breath, and the moment that someone says your name, thinking of you for the last time. And that second one, I'm gonna hasten that for all the people who write the script for Star Trek Picard.
That's funny. Yeah, I can imagine, man. Like, there's certain like, my favorite book series, X-Force. Like, there's certain things where the guy's just fucking lecturing me about his politics during it, and I'm just like, I can't wait to rewrite this shit. Like, one day I'm gonna set a large enough context model that's just gonna go pull all that shit out, and I don't care. I don't want that part of the story. It's fucking boring. It lessens the story to lecture me about your politics. I don't care. You can tell like aspects of what a character thinks or something like that, but when it's like it just gets to you can tell the author is just writing what he thinks out and now making that character say it. And that's not what that fucking character would say. And it's annoying. And I'd like to remove that. That's a flaw of authors, I suppose, and writers, is they you put something of yourself into what you're doing, and a lot of times it's a really good thing if it's a great writer, but sometimes there's just certain things you shouldn't put into your story, where you lessen its ability to tell the story, even if like you presented it in a different way or a more logical way. I would respect it, but it's rough, man. So there's also a few filler fucking books that don't need to be in there. They need to be removed and retrofitted. But it's crazy to think, like, I've got like maybe like 2 to 3 16 book series that I love to death. And you're going to get to the point where, these are not super popular things. They'll have all their plot holes fixed. The source material get cleaned up. And then you have an entire voice acted, you could do animated, you could do live action. That's all coming. I could just, anything I want. I have created a television show for that niche thing that I love. It's all coming. And it's creepily close.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think we'll still have in-person theater and things of that nature, and sort of activities where we can perform as individuals to other individuals. But I think that we'll lose a lot of the sort of negative aspects that come with, I guess, the failures of a human media. I think we'll lose those. But if it sucks, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's just not going to have any soul. It's going to suck. If it sucks, let's say it sucks. Let's just say for some reason AI can't make a good show. Let's just throw it out there. Hypothetically, there he is. Oh, what's his name? Fuck me. I should have looked it up. It's just so frustrating. Don't say it. Don't do it. I don't have it. Say it. Just say it. I'm so angry. I can't really have. He's my favorite. Called them spoonheads. There's an alien race. Miles O'Brien. Miles O'Brien's a little edgy. For Star Trek era. He was in a war. He was part of a war against the Cardassians, and the Cardassians are known for having these thick neck vein things, right, that come out. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. No, you haven't. I hate you. But the other thing about the Cardassian is that they have this little design on their forehead. That's funny. And it's got this little circle thing, yeah? And it looks like a spoon. And so his character, I think, has called them a couple times spoonheads, which is a derogatory slur.
Okay.
He's been in a lot of shows. I would say that this is not.
I recognize his face. I just don't know. I don't know what I've seen him in typeface,
But my point, which I got distracted on, is even if people are like, oh, it's just not going to be good. Okay, so let's say it's not good. Nothing changes. People still make television.
Yeah, but
there's no loss.
It's impossible for it to not be good at this point, is what I would say.
But I'm just saying that's the argument people make, is like, oh, it's just not going to have soul. It's not going to have the charm. Okay, well then guess what? If people want calm me, yeah, I would have probably been able to get that easier. Then people are just going to continue to fund what they're currently funding, because money talks, bullshit walks, and that's how media works. So if it actually sucks, if the media that AI produces sucks for some reason, then we'll just stick to traditional media and we'll use it for all the other fantastic things it can be used for.
Yeah, I think people really underestimate. So let's just, like, you already have like AI art that you can look at that's extremely creative and amazing, and then you mentally don't extrapolate out that it's going to be able to do any form of art. I don't think so. I think it's going to be very good at writing. Yeah, like it's going to know the best practices of writing, It's going to be able to be inspired by every single other writer that came before.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just
It'd be very difficult for it to be bad. He is Irish. I was wrong. He's not Scottish. And the other show did you ever watch Hell on Wheels? Good
no,
show.
never.
Great show. You were I'm sorry, excuse me, what? Is that where you worked with him? Yeah, well, that would explain it. Okay, great show, by the way. Fantastic. Good work. What were you did you act in it? I mean, give you a little context here.
We'll figure out in a moment.
Oh, dude, so you're still an actor though, yeah? That's awesome.
That'd be a cool part. Just like hammered in the background, big thing of mead.
I've always wanted to do background acting work, just acting work in general.
I think you'd be able to do it. Anson Mount. Oh, okay.
He was on that. I don't remember who he played though. Yeah. Current Star Trek. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think if it wasn't law, acting would be the profession that but he has such a long beard. And it's been so long. It was 2011. It was like a decade ago when it started. He has a very thick beard, so I didn't recognize when I looked him up. But anyways, yeah, great, another good show. My dad loves that show, so I'm gonna tell him that, and he's gonna flip. He'll think that's great. I didn't know we had an actor. That's interesting.
I like that dude's get up.
That was a classic. The strange people that we end up having in our circle, yeah.
Yeah, I keep meeting stranger ones on Twitter, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Twitter's full of freaks, isn't it?
Yeah, they're great. They're weird. You get very weird people DMing you on Twitter. I think we're at the closing here. By the way, Johnny,
I agree.
I've got food to eat, and I can't think anymore.
I'm actually really hungry.
Yeah, I know you're hungry. You're always hungry.
What does that mean? My coach said we were doing sit-ups and my shirt was a little pulled up and he pointed and he touched my belly and he said, "Yeah, that don't want to see that by the end of the season." And I was like, "Okay." Ouch.
Damn, buddy.
That hurts. That hurts.
Fat fuck.
He's like, "I want that belly gone." Not my little chub.
You can't just be
buddy.
You can't be a Tyson or what was it? Tyson Fury, right? You ever see him walking around the ring? You can't just do that playing basketball.
Oh yeah, he's a chubby man. I have been. Thankfully, we wear shirts.
Yeah, it's kind of funny about the just like a quick comment on the Tyson Fury like always being like half fucking out of shape thing with like fighting. I always wondered like to what degree, like you can always be the greatest, right, of all time or whatever, but like you just have one thing that like you're lazy about and it fucks you, and like yes, he's the greatest of all time, but like what was his actual peak? I wonder if that's different, if he's crazy as far as like strength goes, like he reaches maximum strength, maximum athleticism within that context. A good example was Shaq. Shaq was like apparently one of the best athletes that some coaches ever saw. He was just not as like work ethic wasn't there, motivation, stuff like that. So like he wouldn't.
He was way better when he was younger too.
They say he just wouldn't train as hard as like Michael would, for example. Extremely talented.
I'm thinking about Yao Ming. Yao Ming was actually. You don't think Yao Ming? Ooh, really athletic, good basketball skills. Yao Ming, we'll look up videos of him dribbling. dude was actually really good for his size. Actually, really good. Period. But then he was so big he got injured. So like, that's those people. It's like, oh man, if we had longevity.
Oh, we for the record, we do have a fun fight coming up from a former basketball now, like former world's strongest man, Brian Shaw. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
He's training for an MMA
Yeah,
fight.
it's Brian Shaw versus who is it now?
There's no
fighting?
verses. They don't have a contender yet. He's just signed for a contract for whatever weight he shows up, he can fight. It's the only time it's happened in UFC history. And that's a 440-pound man. He's probably down about 40 now pounds. And he's training his ass off. It's really funny to watch the training videos with him. He's like very serious about it. So 6'8" man going to fight whoever. There's still no contender announced fighter that he's going against or anything.
Why would anyone want to fight him?
Yeah, they keep trying to get him to go like against John Jones. You know, but it's like you're going to put a beginner up against this guy. Oh shit, I don't know, but you know, the theory is that he's going to smash whoever they put in front of him because
people say John Jones is the greatest fighter ever lived, basically, like in single combat, unarmed combat.
The point people are making is like put him in the room with the strongest man there is, trained up enough, and see what happens. So that's the fascination people have with it. I doubt it'll be John Jones, but it's going to be a fun fight to watch. So something to look forward to. But
John Jones' reputation is in the shitter.
I don't know much about UFC as far as that goes, though.
Yeah, I think he was beating the shit out of his wife. I think that's.
Man, I watched it's like a psychological thing of like criminals and stuff. A whole breakdown of that guy, the Machine, who like beat up his porn star girlfriend, fiance, or whatever. It's rough. Those UFC fighters are like, a lot of them, especially in the early days, really mentally unstable people, you know? Yeah, that was the only famous one I remember of that. But okay, I'm going to end it on the dark note there, Johnny.
Yeah.
Cutting it off right here. I got to go.
Good. Yeah, great. Yeah. Okay, see you, man.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for stopping by, everyone.
Yep.